got the BP spirit right in my head, right in my head, right in my head. I got the BP spirit right in my head to stay. 各位伙伴，大家好！今天来到2025年12月10号，欢迎大家来到贝学院的讲座。我们今天的讲座比较特殊，是一个就是一个茶会的首播哈。那这茶会是来自于就是今年2025年世界女童军总会他们就是在台湾所举办的一个亚太之友25周年开幕的第一天茶会当中的一场讲座，那是由李亚丽执行长他这边的分享内容。那这分享的内容的后半段呢，就是也含有 Q&A。我想其实这整段都是还蛮值得跟大家分享的内容，所以这个部分呢已经经过就是李亚丽执行长这边的就是同意，那所以今天在这边跟大家做播放分享给大家。好，那我这边直接来做播放咯。
有2个非常杰出的女性，然后
对，不止2个，其实很多的。
and many more。
是的。那么我现在是在台湾一个即将90年的制药厂。
So Lily served at a pharmaceutical company, a private pharmaceutical company that's celebrating 90 years anniversary next year. It's one of the oldest in Taiwan.
我觉得我有很多的学习是来自童军，那么更多的学习呢，就是从小植入我的内心的那样的做人做事的原则。
And Lily said that to lead a big corporation, a 90-year-old corporation, she gained all her leadership capacity from Girl Scouts. It's all the core value, all the skill set that through Girl Scouts nurture her, preparing her that she can do it now.
是的，刚刚简总裁有提到诺言、规律还有名言哦。那我这边我觉得影响我很多的是我们的3种制度：小队制度、徽章制度还有荣誉制度。
So Lily says that in her Girl Scouts life, there are 3 systems that we all know that have a big impact on her. Is the troop system, badge system, and the honor system.
对的，所以现在在公司呢，我们也是小队制度，然后每一个人你都是可以在这里。我觉得工作最重要的是要你很快乐的工作啊。那再来我们讲徽章制度，还有荣誉制度。徽章制度呢，我记得我从小背了一个那样的荣誉带的啊，那上面写的德智体群美。
So Lily talks about running a big business. She adapts scouting system, all 3 systems into her company. It's very important to enjoy your career life, but also it's important to have the system. And she always remember her brownie uniform. We all have the badge. We conquer, we achieve the goal, and we all have all the pretty badge on our uniform.
对，在小队制度呢，因为假设露营4天，我们4天就要换4种不同的角色，所以你可以多同理心来看待你的公司的其他的同仁。
So she said that in the National Jamboree, it's always like running 3 to 5 days, and then they need to take different roles. You can be the leader, you need to lead, you need to be led. So in the company, he learns how to take different position, to understand different position and how people coming from different aspects.
是的，那徽章制度呢，我都会鼓励栽培自己，跟自己赛跑。
So the badging system encouraged her to cultivate herself nonstop and always grow.
是，那荣誉制度呢？我常常会提醒我自己，还有告诉我的同仁们，在团队里面呢，因为有我而更美好， 还有能不能成为自己家里的开心果。
And through the honoring system, she always shared with her team member, with our team, be a better team with ourselves. And at a home setting, as in our family setting, can you bring happiness back home? I think she talks about the positive influence.
是的，所以童军栽培我的就是品格力、学习力、领导力，还有承担力哦。所以在一个团队里面，像我现在在公司谈的就是必须你要充满热忱，团队合作，努力不懈，而且很重要的是使命必达。
好，你现在考我的记忆力了。你前面讲的品格力、学习力、
合作力、承担力。
Okay, so she talks about the four skills and values that's very important in a leadership. 品格力 means morality. 品格力、学习力 and always ready to learn, to grow. 然后合作 is to cooperate with team, with others.
承担
and the responsibility. You always have the shoulder.
然后就是充满热忱。
Okay, and she always encouraged her team to have the passion. You gotta have the passion.
团队合作
Teamwork.
努力不懈
Relentlessly working
还有很重要的
relentlessly.
使命必达。
我怎么觉得他在考我中文英文能力？使命必达 ，OK， 使命必达 meaning that you never give up until you reach the goal.
所以我觉得领导风范就是以身作则，然后你必须要很快乐，然后很开心的做每一件事情，所以你的团队一定会跟你很快乐、很开心。
So her leadership style, she thinks that it's critical. You set yourself as the role model for your team. Whatever you want your team to complete or to be like, you gotta be that role model first. And you always hold on to that passion, that fire in your heart.
是的，谢谢我自己，我是中华民国女童军。
She said she's a very proud Girl Scout from Thailand. That's her identity.
哇，谢谢阿丽姐这么温暖的话语，我被滋润了，你们呢？我们非常谢谢前面的两位总裁这个简总裁的年轻、魅力跟行动力，我想永远都是我们的指标。趁现在两位总裁还在这儿，各位有没有什么话语或问题想要提问的？我们可以做很好的回答。哇，这边有一位帅哥来了，来，我们请麦克风。嘿。
Hello, everybody. We very love this quote from President Jen. Is leadership is service, not status. But it's very difficult how to skillfully manage to us. 那个领导领导它是一个服务，而不是身份。这句话我们非常喜欢可是呢，对我们来讲，其实如何去拿捏这个之间的平衡是非常困难的。所以我们想要问问看，有没有这个两位总裁可不可以提供我们一些相关的意见做参考？谢谢。
这位贵姓？对不起。卢先生，你当爸爸了？没有，OK，sorry。我想当一个公司的领导者，我想他是一个风范。我们今天的题目是一个风范。真的啊。坦白讲，我自己有时候呢，就是要做一个领导者的风范。我会企划。我讲一个故事，一个 story， 很短，因为时间的问题。我有一次要完成一个任务，我的誓言是 no。不可能 ，no sex， 不能成功的。我曾经 跟我们阿里的总裁有分享过，我曾经为了突破的问题，我去拜访2个单位，我去拜托那2位的主管，我说我碰上一个人生最大的困难，如果你能够帮我解决一个问题的话，我认为你是我的贵人，也是为你创造一个非常好的良缘。结果在这个生命的当中，我发觉有很多我们认为做不到的问题，结果因为这样而迎刃而解。领导力是一个非常困难的，为什么？是一种观念的concept的改变。所以，当领导者绝对不是一个 power， 而是要创造你的 action， 你的行动力。所以你要用你的 honesty， 你的诚信，用你的行动去感动他。我有一个客人，以前都住台北凯悦饭店，有一次他是一个 long stay 的 guest， 有一次我在问他，我想要去了解，我说你对我的饭店有什么指教，或是你为什么喜欢我的饭店？他只讲了一个，他说 I'm the feel is very warm。他说我非常的感谢你们的饭店有一点温暖的感觉。OK， 我也希望一样的道理。我不敢说 I'm six，but everything is service， 或者 is warm，always by the life。所以我是想，在一个人生里面，你随时用你的行动力去感动一个人。我相信，重视精诚所至，诚实为开，这是我的个人给你的回答。谢谢。
So Ray answered the question with a story. As we all know, he's the president of the hotel. He owns 2 hotels. And there's once that he gave a mission to his staffs. His staffs says, no, impossible. We cannot do it. But Ray says, let us make it happen. So she took the privilege to visit 2 government organizations to find out the problem and then to solve the problem. So what Ray wants to share is that leadership is about, number 1, solving problems for your team when they cannot. Number 2, taking the righteous action. Take action to conquer all the challenges as you face. And then the second story Ray shared is that he has a long stay guest who always used to live in the Taipei Hilton Hotel. But then the guest came to Taoyuan instead of Taipei. So Ray asked him, as a long stay guest in Taipei, why would you come to Taoyuan? Then the guest says, your hotel feels like home. I feel very warm, and that's the kind of feeling that attracts the guest.
如果行动力可以带点温暖，我想很多事情就可以迎刃而解。啊，要再补充说明？
好的。童军的名言就是准备日行一善，人生以服务为目的。所以我觉得，因为世界童军的运动就是教育性的运动，所以我想我在这里极力推广，就是让每一个人都来成为童军。他会进入他的 DNA 里面，所以当他对人、对事、对物，他就是抱着分享的心，还有服务的心。
So Lily wants to go back to Scouting as a non-formal education. We teach kids the right value and always to serve, always ready to serve.
OK， 接下来还有问题吗？哇，来，美女校长哈。
想请问简总裁哈，你每天都非常的忙碌，那如何呢保持你神采奕奕的每一天？谢谢。
So the question is, you only have 24 hours, Ray. How do you keep your momentum and always be so energetic?
谢谢你的分享。我认为分享是一个伟大的学习。我有一首歌，我最爱唱的一首歌，叫《小丑》。其实我每天在面对镜子的时候，是我感受最深的时候，因为我不喜欢穿着那种衣着，因为那时候有时候是一种假象，我要面对的是一个真诚的世界。所以有时候我想小丑，我想在意的不是人家要认识，因为小丑不知道是谁，但是所扮演的角色 我要让你得到快乐。可是当他这个戏画上一个 ending 的时候，回到他的荧幕的背后，他把他妆画下来了，是他最快乐的一面。为什么？他把欢乐留给了别人，把痛苦留给了自己。我只能这么讲，谢谢。
This is profound. I have to make sure I explain it very well. So Ray talks about how he keeps his momentum. His favorite song to sing is a song called Clown. As a clown, you bring happiness to people. When you look into the mirror, it doesn't really matter who you are. If you are a clown, your solely goal of your career life is to bring happiness to people. So that's how he feels for himself. But at the end of the day, when a clown took off the makeup, when you look into the mirror to yourself, that's the happiest time because you know you bring happiness to people. You leave pain to yourself, but you bring happiness. That's how it is. Please, a big round of applause. That's very profound indeed.
小丑，我想这个背后啊，这个真的也是流注着非常多感人的一个话语啊，跟思维。好，还有没有伙伴有话来？
洪文来。
Okay, I have the question for both the president. The young leader, we will growing or teach the young leaders how to your point of view. The young leader how to teach them and how to growing their mind to leading the next generation. I mean, 我用中文讲好了，就是。年轻的领导者，我们如何赋予他？我们当然知道要赋予权力给他，可是现在一个非常的 challenge， 他会 challenge 我们这些资深的 leader 说啊，你们想的跟我们想的不一样。好，我们 generation 都有一个所谓的距离。那我想这样的问题，你如何去面对它，或者是？因为我昨天才带完这些罗浮群人呢，所以我也遇到这样的困难。谢谢。
好，谢谢洪文哦。我刚刚又讲我已经快70岁了，但是我从来不觉得我很老。我想很重要的是，我们也要有一颗年轻的心，我们要同理他。很重要的是，当我不是要去教导他，我想要陪他。我陪伴他，我跟他一起，还有很重要的是，我要很快乐，同时我乐此不疲。所以我觉得年轻人应该也喜欢跟快乐的人，还有跟有趣的人在一起。
Okay, so the question was, Hongwen, my troop leader, I grew up with. He hosts all the coolest campfiring campaigns, so he encountered a challenge. He says that these days, when we're trying to guide young leaders, when we teach them what we think is right, they come back saying that that's wrong because you think differently from us, you don't understand us. So the question was, how do we guide young leaders these days? And then the answer that Lily said is, the key is empathy. You gotta try to understand them in a fun way. When we try to guide young leaders, we try to be their friend, try to be more fun instead of teaching them. So that's the key, Lily share.
OK， 谢谢。那我们最后再一个机会好吗？来，刚刚前面的美女校长来，欢迎。
我们请教
麦克风。
好，我是田中高中校长啊。那我们是完全中学，有国中部，也有高中部。那我想要请问啊，也是我的学姐阿丽执行长啊，因为她又是中美实业的总裁啊，那又是慈济的主委，那又有女童军啊，这么多的一个职称啊，我想应该在很忙碌的一个工作啊行程里面，我想。请教您哦，如何面对啊？不是在有限的活动时间内，怎么面对哦我们各项的挑战？谢谢。
谢谢你哦。想做事的人一天24小时都不够。我想很重要的，我们从表面上来讲，你要有规律的生活，你要睡得够，你要够营养。但是很重要的是，这些 duty 呢，你自己要乐此不疲。你觉得你很 enjoy， 然后你觉得说，因为你来做这个事情，它是有意义的，还有你很欢喜要做。那我常常一天都忙得不得了，但是每个角色在变的当中呢，我会把下一个角色当做我休息的时间。所以当我下一个场所不同角色的时候，我又是一个崭新的自己。那个需要很快速的告诉自己，我觉得这个很棒，很有趣，那我要努力的学习，努力的为别人服务。
So the question was, everybody only has 24 hours, and she wants to know, Lily, as a company chairman, as a volunteer for Tzu Chi, as a leader at Girl Scouts, with so many roles, how is she able to do so much in her daily life? And then Lily's answer was, when we take off our hat and switch to a different hat, we see it as a resting time. For example, when she's a mother, she switched to a chairman, and then she sees it as a rest time as a mother. So she enjoys playing different roles. When she's taking different roles, taking turns, then she make it fun. She sees it not as a responsibility, but as a fun time to enjoy.
谢谢啊！今天邀请两位总裁来这儿，但是我最后还想保留一个问题。听说简总裁现在在写自传啊，我想您的事业啊都是这么的丰富跟优秀，花亮许久，有很多的光芒，很值得我们的学习。我想问一句，你如何去做传承？还有你的对事业，您事业这么丰富，光亮啊，这个事业如何去定位它的价值？谢谢，老板。
So Li Xiang wants to wrap up with the session with a question. President Ray is very busy every day, as we can see, but he's also writing his biography for himself. He's a very good writer, by the way, very romantic, a very great writer. So the question was, what's Ray's succession planning? And also, what's the core value in his company and group? That one, he wants to pass it down to his descendants.
OK， 谢谢。本来这是一个秘密，我开始为我的人生写下我的第一本书，我不花钱。这个书店叫简氏书店，就是我自己。我发行的对象是我的儿子。
He's only writing the biography to his son, and it's supposed to be a secret.
有人提到，年轻的世代，尤其是父子的关系，还有事业的传承，这是一个最困难的。所以，我想发行这本书的最大目的，是我从内心有感而发，因为我很遗憾，我爸爸妈妈留下的是一个物质，没有精神。所以从小我就已经感受到，以后我要留给小孩，并不是他的钱财，而是我必须要留给他是一个价值的存在。所以我写了一本传记。这个传记呢，总共有200多页，我自己草稿已经完成。我是要告诉他，你如何来做一个传承，因为非常重要的一件事情。我想，我要试问在座的诸位，请问你的上一代留下来给你什么东西？有没有人愿意跟我分享？只是一种信物的代表。我不希望未来我们每一个人都成为什么？红架顶迄个神主牌啊！安尼每工你甲拜，唔是拜什么？ 是爱拜出咱的价值的各位。所以我有感而发，我要希望我的下一代要永远记住，世代留给你的是一个什么？是一个人生的价值，你记住了没有？所以我就从我的一生，我的父亲、我的母亲、我的小孩、我的事业，在我人生里面所面对的一个种种的困难，我希望从这本书里面，我来传授给我的小孩。虽然钱财是另外身外之物，但是我认为这个价值比什么更重要。但是我知道我的小孩会不会能够接受，他可能还不清楚。我说没有关系，在我的首页我写到，我说如果你喜欢，你就把它当作是一本《葵花宝典》；如果你不喜欢，请你以小说慢慢帮我看完一遍。那里面呢，是我人生里面有很多的困难，还有我自己所写的散文，也包含在我各行各业里面所面对的种种。但是我留下了2个最重要的格言。我说人生永远是美妙的，只是说你要怎么去改造你的未来，那要靠你自己，不是靠别人。你要如何去创造你的价值？第2个，我要告诉他，在世代的变化当中，你如何要面对世界的挑战？所以要永远记住，同样的石头，千万不要踢2次，因为踢1次很痛。爸爸已经踢过了，我希望你，我要教导你，你要面对你的未来，石头不要再踢2次。所以在里面有很多的石头，我就告诉他了。那我希望这一本书呢，是能够对我的小孩，我也希望从小孩的当中不是一个传家之宝，我认为是不但是传家之宝，就好像我跟阿里总裁今天中午在分享，我说传有一个动词，一个叫名词，传是传承，是什么？一个 condition， 要如何继续这种精神价值的存在。那另外一种是名词，是一个传记。那一个传是什么？就好像一样，我说我们时代在改变，很多的价值都永远没办法的存在。就像一个美的东西，就像我自己的餐厅一样。我曾经跟对我的师傅，我跟他讲，我说你传了什么都给你的下一代，请问你传了什么给你的徒弟？有没有？他说笑一笑。我说很可惜，我们台湾很多的东西都慢慢的失传，尤其在所谓的文化跟价值的方面，我是希望有我这一个小根能够把它发扬出去。大概我的传记是这样，有一个简介，但是对不起，我不卖的，只卖给我儿子。啊，那真的是一个简单的分享。OK， 秘书我这。
谢谢，非常感恩。
So, Li Xiang mentioned that President Ray is writing his biography at the moment, and he already finished the first draft. It's about 200 pages, but it's only going to pass it down to his son. The main reason why he writes the book is because Ray feels that it's a pity that his parents did not pass down any value, spirit to him. So when it's his turn, with this huge company that he's giving down to his son, he thinks the most important part to give his son is value and what is the most important elements that he care about. So he said that there are 2 things in the book that he wants to share with him. Number 1, to create with your own hand. You gotta take the action to make things happen. And number 2, don't make the same mistakes twice. Do not make the same mistake twice. So in his biography, he talks about all the stories he grew up, all the challenges, how he conquered it. But at the front page, he wrote it down saying that, if you trust your dad, if you love me enough, please look at it as a manual to become a superhero. Use it right. But if you don't trust me, you gotta love me. Please finish reading it as a novel. That's how fun he is. So he talks about writing a biography and succession planning.
感恩，我们学习很多，人生一定要有你存在的价值。我们也希望你的价值能够影响你的后代。今天非常感谢两位总裁，谢谢你们的经验分享。
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray, for sharing.
童军是一项使命，童军的价值它是行动、成果和持久的影响力。
So to conclude the session, scouting is a mission. Is the value of scouting is reflected in concrete action, meaningful outcomes, and lasting impact.
很荣幸，我们都是童军的一员。
And we are lucky to be a guide, a Girl Scouts.
期待我们都能够带着童军的真修养自我。
不好意思，今天我不晓得说各位在线上的是不是刚都有可以正常的听到声音吗？好，那我想这是一个就是好，就是可能我接下来我要试着就是提前来把事情给搞定，这样子再来确认这件事情。那各位伙伴要愿意就是开个镜头分享吗？这一场的就是首播的部分呢，就是我们的李阿丽执行长他。预计会在下一场，就是我们下一次我会再重新就是把这个讯息，因为我觉得这讯息是真的是挺好的一个，就是讲座的内容哈，那很值得给更多人认识它，所以就是我安排了2场，在下一场是在12月24号，一样是在礼拜三8点半的时间会播放。那各位你们如果你们已经看过了，那就是下一场你们可以大概就是9点的时间再上线，因为阿丽执行长会在9点的时候，就是我们播放完了之后，他会上线来跟大家做交流。如果你有什么样的就是想法，想要跟他这边就是请教，或者是也想要回馈的，可以利用那一个时段的时间这样子。OK， 好哦，那各位有要那个开个镜头合影吗？有吗？哦，好，不晓得各位有听到我这边声音吗？
有。
有哈 ，OK， 好哦。那有要开镜头可以利用这个时间点哦，好哦，一些熟悉的面孔好，那我来拍一张照，我们一样是就留个记录好了，好吧？好，谢谢各位哦，谢谢你们的参与。好，3、2、1，好，跟大家一起拍一张，3、2、1，好，那就谢谢大家，那就是好，那也可以就是也欢迎你们去分享给你们觉得值得分享，那他们就是也愿意就是有这样子的一个就是会想要去听这样子的一个演讲内容的对象，可以给他们。好，那感谢各位，我们就下次见，拜拜。
谢谢观赏贝学院讲座，喜欢请按赞、分享，并给我们鼓励和支持。